Hello everybody, welcome. This is the very first Facebook Live event that we're doing here at Accent Housing. We're doing it today on income, and we're doing a question and answer session, hopefully to provide you some support and help. It's the first time we've ever done anything like this, so please bear with us. We've got Dan in the room who set everything up for us, and we've got our colleague James just off camera. So from time to time you might see us talking to each other, we might trip up over our words, but like I say, it's the first time we've done it, so bear with us. And hopefully it'll be really useful, we'll be able to give you some really good support and advice. We've got an hour, so that's going to depend on the amount of questions that we get sent in. So please, if you have any questions at all, get them fired over and we can try and give you the best answer we possibly can. I'll be honest, if it's about repairs or any other part of the service, don't send them into this forum because we're not going to be able to answer that. We've not got the equipment here, we've not got the support here to be able to answer those questions. Send us a direct message, we'll get it directed to the right person, they'll be able to give you a response. But like I say, if it's about anything other than income and your rent, there's not much point in sending it across. So, just do a bit of an introduction so we know who we are. My name is Roy, I work in the income team in Yorkshire. I've worked at Accent for about 7 years now. Started in the repairs team and I've worked my way up to the income service. And from a personal point of view, got to be honest, the best part of my job is actually being able to go out and support people. When we can really turn a situation around for somebody who may have been burying their head in the sand or really struggling with finances, and that affects their mental health as well, if we can turn that around and help improve their quality of life, it makes a massive difference to them and obviously to us as well. And then I've got to my left here.
I'm Lauren, I work in the North East Income team. I've worked for Accent for a year. Prior to that, I've worked among many different benefit settings for 18.5 years now. So I've got a lot of knowledge in different areas with regards to citizens advice, job centres, low-level benefits advice. So it's been good to bring to the company.
Definitely, yeah. So we're here today, like I said, to answer any of your questions and give you a bit more of an intro as to who we are and what we do. It's been a massively difficult and troubling time, let's be honest, right the way through this pandemic. And I want everyone to know, like I say, when you're viewing this today or whatever that may be, if you're catching up on it later, we're real people. We've all been affected, whether that be friends and family. From a personal point of view, my partner's been on furlough. I've had my little girl at home for the last 6 months. So we understand how difficult it is for people out there. Like I say, I know you've had people, friends and family, haven't you, who's been supporting as well.
Lots of friends have came to me for advice outside of work as well.
So we know it's difficult. We're not robots. We're here, like I said, to provide you a tailored solution and hopefully give you the best output we possibly can do. I'll be honest again, if we don't know the answer, we do work with other organisations and agencies. So we can, if we can't give you the correct advice or the most detailed advice, we'll point you to one of those. So it might be a citizens advice or step change, for example, if you need some more in-depth debt advice or financial advice. But we'll make sure we're giving you the right tailored solution to that. So, like I say, it's been a really strange year. And we're looking at the moment, in July, unemployment at 2.7 million. So it's massive. And there's over 3 million people have made a claim for universal credit since lockdown. The impact that's had on us at Accent and our customers, between March and April this year, we supported over 600 residents in making claims for universal credit. Compared to last year, that's over double. So the impact has been massive, it's been significant. To put into perspective for our teams and what we're trying to do for people, there's 3,000 more texts, emails and telephone calls that we've made to people. Like I say, we're doing everything we possibly can to support, and we'll continue to do so as long as we're needed. That goes into practice, and I think, Lauren, you've got a couple of examples for us, haven't you, where you've actually helped support people in like real life situations.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people on furlough, and again, I think the overall thing from that was everyone just thought they were going to get 8% of the wages. The reality was some people were only getting 50 to 60%, and that was because of losing shift allowances, guaranteed overtime. So, you know, a lot of people were coming to us and they couldn't pay a penny towards their rent, you know, because of the situation. And that's when we started to look deeper into the benefits that they were currently getting. If there was anything else they were entitled to, could we maximise their income to help them, you know, keep a roof over their head, pay their other bills, and obviously look at their debts.
I remember you telling me the other day about a customer that you were dealing with who, like we keep saying about contacting us about your rent if you need any support, because maybe somebody you were dealing with, weren't there, who didn't contact us, and how did that impact them?
Yeah, basically what I would have advised them to do was stay on the housing benefit and their tax credits. But obviously in a panic, they claimed universal credit and they made themselves £150 a month worse off.
See, this now that's massive. I know it'd be massive for anybody in any situation, wouldn't it? But this is what we're talking about. If you come to us, we'll be able to give you that tailored solution, and we'll make sure that it's individual to you and give you everything we possibly can. So, I think a couple of key messages today from us is, if you're financially impacted by COVID or anything else when we're paying your rent, engage with us. Like I said, I mean, the whole point of this is we're real people, and we're here. We will give you, like I said, the best solution we possibly can for you. And we want to build a relationship with you and provide that solution and make sure that you feel comfortable in coming to us whenever you need anything. Don't hide. I mean, a lot of people, as the old adage, people bury their head in the sand. We understand that. But in reality, it's the worst thing you can do, because we can actually help you, and we will help you. We've got support networks in place internally to be able to do that if you've been affected by COVID or anything else. But as long as you come to us and talk to us, we'll be able to help you, support you through that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other bits. I mean, Lauren, I know you're going to talk about if you lose your job, or like you say, when furlough comes to an end, about claiming benefits.
Yes, so obviously furlough is due to come to an end in October. Don't really know what the government are going to plan on doing after that, to be honest. If they are going to keep shutting bars and restaurants down, you know, we're going to have to kind of watch this space. However, what I would say to people is, if you are currently getting housing benefit, any tax credits, any of those legacy benefits that moved over to universal credit, if you currently receive those, ring us straight away, because you might be better off staying on those rather than moving on to universal credit straight away. So it's definitely worth having that conversation to see what your best option is.
I mean, just a few, obviously, questions. I mean, I think we're better, obviously, like with the amount of experience you've got. I mean, if you do lose your job, what would be the best thing that you'd advise somebody? Would it be what would it be?
If you're currently receiving housing benefit or tax credits, ring us. We can get somebody to have a look at it. Like I say, you might not get through to somebody straight away who knows the exact answer. However, we can try and find that out for you. If you're not claiming any benefits currently, then universal credit would be your option.
I mean, what about if someone's struggling to pay the bills? Again, we know, like, say, how difficult it's been. What sort of advice would you be handing over then?
Again, look, you know, we could look at budgeting as well. You know, we could go through an income and expenditure with people and see where, you know, they could try and like make reductions on the bills and things like that. If people go on to claim universal credit, it is classed as a qualifying benefit to get support with other things. So you could get cheaper broadband, you could get help with your water bills. It opens up a lot of opportunities as well, you know, for things you would normally have paid in full. You might not have to now.
Yeah.
So it does, you know, it opens up that avenue.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've heard a couple of stories recently from my team, and I don't know if you've had any up there, but people who've been struggling with school uniforms. Have you had any examples of that? Because I know we've done quite a bit, haven't we, to help people with school uniforms?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm from Sunderland, and I know our local authority has something set up where you can get referred into a specific charity. Again, if you're in receipt of a qualifying benefit, then
Get help
you
towards
can
them.
look towards.
But these are the sort of things that you might not necessarily know.
No.
But we have a team here who know these little nuances within each individual council. So, like I say, get in contact with us. What would you do if, so like I said, there's a few little questions I'll go for you first of all before we open it up to questions. But if you didn't have the internet and needed to apply, what would you advise someone to do?
Internet, I mean, we do have CPs going out and about at the minute. It could be that they could help you from a distance, put an application in. Obviously, you could get in touch with the job centre. The job centre should be able to give advice on that, but most people have actually been applying via phone.
Yeah, well again, I don't think people are aware of that, because they make it evident, don't they, that it should be.
It's an online benefit.
It's only online, but again, it's a little trick to it that we'll be able to help you with. I mean, as an example, we were dealing with a customer in Yorkshire, and an elderly lady who had no forms of transport to get to the job centre to do her application. She had no access to the internet. So she was really panicking about what she's going to do moving forward. But at that point, we interjected. We made sure that we could get somebody out from the job centre, that we could attend that meeting with her. This is before COVID. So like I say, things have changed slightly now, and obviously social distancing applies. But we were able to go out and ensure that she got that claim set up. Now, if she hadn't been in contact with us, we'd have never been able to do that. The likelihood is she's then going to start suffering, her mental health's going to be impacted, her debts are going to increase, and it just ended up going into a spiral. So again, she got in contact with us early, and we managed to resolve that straight away. And Another one I've got for you. If you're currently claiming UC
Yeah.
and you're sick, so you can't work,
Yes.
is there anything else you can claim?
You can claim personal independence payment. That used to be disability living allowance. So I would definitely say if you've passed a sickness assessment, if you're scoring points for that, you will more than likely score the points for PIP as well. So it's definitely worthwhile. It's definitely worth applying for that. That is quite a big benefit as well. It's quite a lot of income for people.
Brilliant. And it's another one. It's another big one that's going to come up, and it's going to rear its head again some point. Bedroom tax.
Bedroom tax, yes, there are exemptions you can apply for if you've got an overnight carer, or if you're in a couple and you've got 2 bedrooms but you can't share a bedroom because of a medical reason. Again, you could get in touch with Universal Credit or Housing Benefit and get a letter from your GP or consultant to state that you can't use that room. As a spare room. It's got to be used by the 2 of you, and they put an exemption in place for that. Alternatively, if it's not an exemption, you could apply for a discretionary housing payment.
Right.
That's more of a short-term award. However, as long as you're showing that you're trying to improve your circumstances, so that eventually you'll be able to pay it yourself, then they should be able to put something in place.
But again, that's things that people potentially won't know. Again, we've got that knowledge of. So if you come to us, we can, like I say, we can help. We can tailor that support to you. I think from this point now, I think the best thing we could probably do would be move over to answering some questions. I mean, we've given you a little bit of an indication as to what we're doing and the reason that we're here. What we want to do, like I say, is open this up to people now and genuinely, while we're here, pick our brains. Yeah. There's something you want to know from us, like I say, send us a message. And at that point, like I say, if it's not myself or Laura, we can, I think it'll be an indication as well as the sort of things that we can answer, and then the sort of things that we may not be able to answer, but we'll know where to direct you if there is anything that you need to know.
What I would like to say as well, Roy, is that obviously, a lot of the focus is on unemployment, but if you are sitting there watching this and you don't think that you're well enough to go to work, if your mental health has been impacted, then again, ring us, because it might be that rather than, potentially claiming unemployment, you might be better off claiming sickness benefits.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've actually got the first question coming here from a lady called Lizzie, saying, I wonder if you can help me. So I have a resident moved in internally with us last August. She'd been financially abused at this previous address and has inherited £51,000 from his mother who passed away. Since Toll's been financially abused again, he's met a female friend who's a drug addict, and she's taken and used all his money. As they're in a relationship, all the money's now gone and she has left. He's now no income and no means to pay his rent. So what sort of thing will we do around that? Have you any idea who we could signpost them to, or?
With financial abuse, I know the local councils do a lot of work there, and they'll obviously get in touch with the police where needed and things like that. Obviously, if the tenant feels comfortable to do so. If he's in receipt of no income, then the main priority as well is getting him a steady stream of income back in place as well, and making sure that he's got, food on the table. Yeah.
I mean, we've had instances like that as well. I mean, we had one within the Yorkshire region a few years back. I mean, quite similar to this, but it was more of financial abuse, and it were modern slavery as well. So you'd be amazed at the kind of things that come through and we actually are dealing with. It's not just people who are struggling with the work, it's all these different things as well. And this particular person, we were able to get them out of that situation from modern slavery, again, working with partnership agencies, working with the police. In all honesty, we can't remove somebody from that situation, but again, we can be the agency or the help network, if you will, to help you get away from that sort of circumstance. Got one.
Well,
sorry, go on.
Sorry, just off the back of loan sharks.
Yes.
That's going to be a major thing spreading across the country like wildfire, because they know people are in poverty, people have lost their jobs, people need to pay their rent. If you pay, say, 1 week's rent from a loan shark, you could end up with over £1,000 to them. Yeah. It just doesn't end. If you are involved in a loan shark, again, either come to us, go to your local council, and there is a lot of support out there to stop that.
But again, you need to ask the question, don't you?
Yeah.
If you just sat there and you're obviously taking that, you're in that spiral.
And obviously protection is put in place as well, so you wouldn't be put at risk.
Yeah. Got another one here from a gentleman called Paul in Surrey. So he says he's lost his job. What help can I get?
Depending on his circumstances, again, would need to know if there's any kind of legacy benefits floating around there, if he's been claiming child tax credit, housing benefit, anything like that. If he isn't in receipt of any of those, then Universal Credit straight away. What I would advise to people as well is be careful of your last date of pay. if you put your claim in and then you get a month's wage the week after, you're going to get nothing for that first period.
Yep.
So for the first month of universal credit, you'll get nothing because that wage will have slipped into that assessment period.
Yeah.
So if you're expecting a big wage, is maybe claim a UC the day after, again, ring us because we can check that for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Again,
Yeah.
those little things, well, the big things aren't they? People aren't going to know that.
No, because for me, and I've dealt with people like in the past, and they'll go, but that was my wage off the month before. And I'm like, yeah, but you've had it in that time period, and they'll expect you to live off it. You're better off getting it, claiming UC the next day to maximise your income.
Yeah. What happens as well if somebody's moving property?
Moving property, it all depends again.
It's a date, isn't it, that they move?
Yes.
And it's around, so to the old landlord and the new landlord?
Yeah, and it depends again if you're moving from private to social and social to private and things like that. So again, that's worth checking out.
From
with us.
experience I've had, and I think I'm right here, so obviously you'll be able to pick me up if not, but I believe that, for example, if you moved into one of our properties and your payment date was in the first week of your tenancy, you'd get the full month's rent for the new property, wouldn't you? Is that right?
Yes.
And you wouldn't get anything for the previous property?
No.
Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, so you've got to kind of time it right.
Yeah.
But our homes marketing teams are pretty good at that.
Yeah. So again, ask that question, come to us and we'll see what we can do. I've got another one here. So from a lady called Paula in Nottingham. How will the DWP verify my identification?
How will they verify it? Again, that can be done online, a bit like Experian. So they actually use Experian to help verify your ID. So you can input your passport number, I think your driving licence, banking details, things like that. So it's very secure. That can be done online.
Brilliant.
As well.
Just got another one coming through now.
I think they are taking things as well, though, if people can't get online. I think they are taking things not just over the phone, but you can just take screenshots of your driving licence or your passport and send it in.
Okay, because at the beginning there were a lot of issues around that, weren't there? And
yeah.
certain services.
It was all set up to be online, which was all great and handy when you could go to the library, but now you can't. So.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. This is a good one. What's been your personal highlight of the work you've both done during the pandemic?
I think just being there for people, you know, because you're having some conversations and people are in absolute tears and you're saying, don't worry, please don't worry too much about it. It's been really nice just hearing those people kind of calm down. Because, it is a worry, isn't it? You know, when you've gone from having a steady income stream to then having nothing.
I think
it's very, very daunting.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me has been not so much, it's more the legacy stuff as well, because we've had such a massive impact from COVID and we've been trying our best to engage with people for such a long time. I think the uncertainties sort of made people come and actually ask for help, and in doing so, people who we may have been struggling to engage with for 6, 12 months and have just been even people who are in serious arrears, people then come to us, haven't they? Yeah. And we've been able to put support in place for them, which has been great. So I had one customer, and they're in significant arrears. But when they eventually got in contact with me, it were a case of, right, well, what's your actual circumstances? And when we tailored that approach with them, I think people assume that if they owe £1,000, £2,000, we're going to say, if your rent's 300 quid, we want 500 quid a month off you to get it cleared. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing I can try and get across is, we'll tailor it for you. So if you can't afford that, we'll work with you for what you can afford. So if someone comes to you and they're on universal credit, and even if they've been in arrears before, like I say, people bury their head in the sand and they don't want to engage. If you do take that step and you do engage with us, I promise you, you're not going to be chastised, no one's going to judge you. We're literally going to make sure we put the right help in place for you to resolve it from that point on. So like I say, I had somebody who came to me, they were in over £1,000 worth of arrears, but they hadn't wanted to engage because of the circumstances. At that point, because I'm not judging them, it's a case of, right, well, what can we do now to bring you out of that? And once we've done that, again, it eases the mental health worries on that, the financial restraints that they've got. People are prioritising other things that they don't need to. And like you say, then they end up getting involved in things like loan sharks and things. So, again, the best possible advice I can give you is to get in contact with us. Just looking if there are any more questions coming through. Don't seem to have any at the moment. Sorry, bear with 1 second. We're having a technical issue.
No, it's all right. Let's turn Laura's microphone off.
Ah, right, so you had to turn one of the microphones
too
up, it weren't
quiet.
working. I'm just wondering, do you have any more questions coming through?
I've got a few about repairs, Roy.
Right, okay. So again, if people are if people are asking us questions about repairs, we get it. There might have been some failures. We can go on.
I'll touch on one client I had as well. She was struggling with her mental health, so buried her head in the sand. With regards to her income, she was actually in receipt of housing benefit. So what we're actually doing now is we're going to work with housing benefit, work with her, try and get some medical evidence, because obviously, you know, she's struggled with it for some time, and we're going to try and get that benefit reinstated
Right, brilliant.
for
We
her,
have-
to keep her on those legacy benefits as well.
Yeah, we've had a
moving
couple
forward.
like that, haven't we, where people assuming that just if they've had the claim, for example, stopped and they've not provided information at the right time. We had one recently where it actually got backdated to April.
Yes.
Because, and we're not yourself who were telling me that story about, you managed to argue it and go back and you got it reinstated, didn't you? Quite a substantial period back.
And housing benefit kept saying he needs to claim universal credit, claim universal credit. And I said, well, no, because actually he's got mitigating circumstances that you weren't aware of. And we're going to request an out-of-time revision, which you can do up to 13 months. And we had it backdated 7 months. So he had something like £3,000 arrears and it was written off fully.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So if he had claimed universal credit, though,
He'd have been stuck
he
with
would have
that.
been left with all those arrears and then on a lower income as well, because he was actually in receipt of PIP on ESA, so he would have lost the severe disability premium as well.
But, and again, this is the thing, like, I may not have known that. But again, if someone comes to me and asks that question, if I don't know the answer, I'd be coming to yourself or somebody else, or if it be an external organisation, to find the answer out for you. Because I'll be honest, I wouldn't know that intrinsic detail of that. I'd be, right, well, actually, it may sound like universal credit to me, but we'll always ask the question. So going back and being able to do that, I mean, imagine the difference that's made to him.
Yeah.
£3,500, who's got £3,500 to be able to just pay out of the back pocket? And I don't think anybody has at this time, have they? I've got another one come through. Why do we ask for rent to be paid when I move in?
Okay, so basically when you move into a property, it's a bit like, you know, if you take on a mortgage or if you were going to a private rent, they would ask for a payment up front. So that stops you from falling into rent arrears straight away. So if you move in on the 1st and you pay a month's rent, that'll carry you over to the next month when your next rent payment's due. And then obviously you're not getting any interaction from ourselves, you know, whether it be letters, texts, things like that.
You're a little bit quiet, but
There you go. Well, I think it's a good point. I mean, we get a lot of questions. We'll be ringing people and they'll be dropping into credit, but then falling into arrears. And I think there's been a legacy issue with that. We'll hold our hands up and say that. But what we're trying to get people to do is pay as per the tenancy agreement and pay on time.
Yes.
So like you say with anything, the analogy I always use, if you go into a supermarket to buy your shopping, you pay for it up front and then you eat it. It works the same way with your tenancy agreement in a lot of ways. You're paying for the time that you live in there. So if you like, you say if we charge on the 1st or we charge on the Monday, you're paying the Monday to the Monday and you pay for it at the beginning. If you're on benefits, we'll work with you to make sure you're in that position so we can continue to help you moving forward from there. But again, we'll tailor that to you as an individual to make sure you're getting the right support.
Yeah. And obviously the target your tenancy is at the start. If you were to hit a bump in the road, such as being furloughed or losing your job or going sick, then at least, you know, you've got that clear rent account there to kind of
Exactly, and we can work
with
from there,
yeah.
I'd like to know how you're going to get your message over to people who can use the internet. From Babs?
this is from Babs, yeah.
Oh, good old Babs. It's from Babs. So I'd like to know how you're going to get your message over to people who can't use the internet. So a lot of that at the moment, we're making phone calls, we're sending text messages, we're sending emails. We're even doing cards at the moment that we'll be sending out, again, at that point to say, get in contact with us. And what we'll do, whatever is your preferred contact method, we'll use that. So if you only want to contact us via email, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're not going to dictate to you that you have to speak to us. We're not going to dictate that we're going to have to come to your home and deal with it. If whatever contact method you want, we will do that for you. Obviously, if people can see this now, I'd like to say as well, if you've got the ability to share with your neighbours who you don't think have access to the internet, if you've got a tablet or you've got a laptop, show them. Show them this video, and like I say, make them understand that we're real people. Like I say, that we want to help. It's always been a big thing of mine, that like the wolf at the door, banging on the door and you have to come and see us and we're telling you what to do. And I think things have massively changed.
Yeah, I was gonna actually say earlier, it crossed my mind earlier to say, is that there is this massive stigma of, oh my God, it's the rent officer.
Yeah.
But we are income officers now, and
Yeah.
I would like to think that being called income means that we're dealing with all aspects of income, whether
Yeah.
it be our income, your income. You know, that's what we want to help with, because it's not just about us getting a rent payment. It's about making sure that you're happy in your home and that you're safe and comfortable. That's
Exactly
the main
that, yeah,
priority to me.
Exactly. As an organisation, that's our main priority, that people are happy in the homes and living well.
Yeah.
We don't want to be banging on your door and asking for things. We want to work with you to get that right resolution. Got another one. Oh, it's good this. We've got another one here. From Stuart. We got hit by the benefits cap in the middle of the pandemic. Got 7 children, 3 of whom we received nothing for. What
Yep.
can I do?
Benefit cap. Now, there are some exemptions to the benefit cap. Let's think if I can remember them all off the top of my head. Is he single or in a couple? Did he say? It depends. If you're single, you can go and find 16 hours of work a week, and that will make you exempt from the benefit cap. If you're in a couple, I believe it was 30 hours.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. It might be slightly higher. And that will make you exempt. If anybody in the family is claiming a disability benefit, again, really good one. There might be something underlying, a health condition that you don't think would qualify for it, and it might. I used to refer a lot of people through to get PIP or child DLA, because again, that was one of the exemptions for having that.
But again, I think on that, get in contact with us.
Get in contact with us, yes.
And we'll make sure we find out the full circumstances, then we can
Yep.
make sure that the solution's tailored to you.
Yeah, and we're
We
gonna
can help you with that.
look for any exemptions where possible, yeah.
I've got a couple more questions coming through, so that's really good. So this is from Lisa. We're in rent arrears because of the COVID situation, and we've got the lady in charge of the rent accounts hounding me when I can't do anything, and it's stressing me out. From my point of view, Lisa, we completely get it. And I promise you, we're not hounding you. We want to work with you. So you will be getting phone calls, you will be getting text messages. The likely is you've probably got a card through your door.
Yeah.
Best thing to do is pick up the phone and speak to us. And I promise you, you're not going to be judged. We're not going to shout at you. We're not going to scream at you. We're not going to be demanding money from you. What we're going to look at is how we can get you out of the situation that you're in.
I mean, maybe if Lisa doesn't feel comfortable speaking to that member of staff, if she wants to drop us a message, I could take a look at her
Yeah,
account.
exactly, yeah. I mean, we're a national organisation, so as we said before, I work in Yorkshire, Lauren here works in the North East. We've got offices in Burnley, we've got offices in Camberley, we've got offices in Peterborough. So there are different members of staff that we can... Hold on, here we go.
Keep talking, Lauren.
Yeah, yeah, I was just saying though, if Lisa wants to contact us and send us a direct message, then we could look at her account
Definitely,
for
yeah.
her.
Well, like I say, we're going to make sure you get the right solution. And it may seem like hounding, but a lot of the time we're doing that to try and generate that first contact. And we will, at that point, then look to tailor a solution for you. I keep repeating this phrase, tailoring a solution, but I couldn't mean it anymore. We're going to make sure that it's right for you. So you might think I'm a broken record saying it, but it is honestly true.
It is, and that's the thing, you know, we can stand here and give out kind of, you know, basic benefits advice. However, it's because it does need to be tailored to people. You know, everybody's circumstances are different, so it's hard to kind of stand here and go, if this happens, you should do that, because it's not the right fix for everybody.
And that's it, and you can give generic advice, but like you've just said, it might be the
could
wrong...
put you in a dangerous situation of claiming a benefit that you don't need to.
Exactly. Got one from somebody called Shaz. Somebody asked to move. Well, I've been asking to be moved from Bradford to Leeds because that's my workplace. I'm struggling with transportation where I live. Keep getting different responses whenever I call. What should I do? It depends again who you've spoken to. Depends what state your account is. Do we have a property for you? Do we need to look on Let's Move? Is there the right available property? What are your circumstances? Are you somebody with a family? Because, again, it's going to go off criteria and needs. So in reality, if somebody's a young single mum who's got a couple of kids, they're going to be higher priority for a 2-3 bedroom property than for, say, a single person, whether that be male or female, who's just moving for work. It may not be that we have the property. I've had a few conversations with people recently, and we're a big organisation, but we don't necessarily have all the stock all the time to be able to fit everybody's needs. But again, we can have that conversation with you and make sure that we're putting you in contact with the right person who can give you the right answer. The right answer might be, we need to look at another provider. But again, we can help you do that because we want to make the transition as smooth as possible. If you're leaving us, we want to make sure you leave us in the right circumstances so that, again, if you do have the opportunity to come back, you're wanting to come back to us. But in reality, it's not always that we've got everything for everybody. You know, I get a lot of phone calls. I want a 3-bedroom property. We don't just have them lying around. As you can imagine, people are in a lot of our 3-bedroom properties, so that's quite difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
But again, get in contact. If you've spoken to somebody and you've not got the right answer, we'll send the message over. We can get somebody to give you a contact back, and we can again look at the solution for you. Are you still sending automated letters as soon as someone gets into arrears? And these can be intimidating. That's again from Babs. We're not sending them anymore. No. We've turned off that automation because we understand that. I mean, not to go into too much detail, but sending letters is actually one of the best communication methods we've had. But we understand that a lot of the letters that were going are potentially dated, they're out of touch, they're delivering the wrong message. So we've stopped all that automation now. So you shouldn't be getting the automated letters. What you're going to be getting is a tailored contact from an income officer, a tailored text message. The message might just say, give us a contact on all 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. But give us a contact, and we can actually then look at putting that solution in place for you. But the letters themselves, no, we have stopped them, haven't we? Because we got a lot of feedback on them, didn't we? And they weren't...
Yeah, I think as well, because of obviously what went on, I think, you know, it was nice to give more of a personal touch to people as well.
Yeah.
And obviously when you're having those conversations, you can ask people if they're okay and if they're coping as well. Because obviously going into lockdown was horrific for a lot of people. I don't think many people coped well with it.
No. I like this question from Tanya. Totally off the subject, but are you more helpful to people with really bad health issues?
No, we're helpful to everybody. Everybody gets our help.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, if you've got a health issue, it might be that we need to give you different advice. But I would like to think, from my point of view anyway.
No, yeah, I agree.
And obviously yourself, we give everybody, you know, it's like equal opportunities, isn't it? You know,
you can't treat people differently just because of their individual set.
No, we've got to give everybody else the kind of same good outcomes.
Of course,
that's what we look to do.
It might be that it's more in depth, like you sort of alluded to, and it might be that we need to give a longer service to somebody who's got more in-depth health issues. We might need to continue that support for a longer period of time, but it won't be any different to somebody.
No, with the aim, like I say, of having the same good outcomes. You know, what we're looking for is happy, healthy.
Exactly. Yeah.
People.
I hope that answers that question. And like I say, if there's a reason you're asking that, and you've not had the right level of service from somebody, again, we can get back in contact with you. We can make sure that we put you through to the right person. Have we got any more questions coming through, James?
Can't type quick enough.
Can't get it over quick enough.
Can't type quick enough, James. We need to get a new typist.
Got a question here from somebody called Jenny. I'm on working tax credits. I've been temporarily laid off from work. What should I do?
Oh, temporarily laid off with a view of going back. That's what we need to know. Are you due to go back to work? If your employment is stopped, you will get a 4-week run-on of tax credits. Okay, after those 4 weeks, you would then, you know, that would end, and that would be that legacy benefit gone. So what we need to kind of do is maybe have a conversation with you to find out, you know, are you due to go back to your employment? Are you on a furloughed kind of wage? Just give us a ring and we can have a conversation around that. Obviously, the best outcome would be trying to keep you on your tax credits.
Okay, well, just another message come through here. We're temporarily laid off work. Obviously, the same question. It just says yes. So it is definitely temporary. They are looking to go back. So that means they're going to get the 4-week run-on, or is that if they stop?
If they're still in employment, they would need to ring tax credits and explain the situation to them. I would assume that the tax credits should run on.
You'd assume so in the current situation, wouldn't you?
But
again, you'd have to ask the question.
Tax credits haven't released any advice or guidance on how they're going to do things, unfortunately.
But again, I think that goes back to an individual circumstance, doesn't it? These sort of things, again, it can give you a generic response.
But what they might do, you see, is if you're temporarily out of work, they might just class your employment as being continuous, and then next year you would be assessed on a lower wage because you didn't earn for that period. So
Potentially it could be a good thing, I suppose.
it could be better off next year, yeah.
Yeah,
So give them a ring, and just advise them that you obviously are still employed. However, it's just a temporary situation.
We've got a follow-up question from Tanya, the lady who asked us, are we more helpful to people with bad health issues? And she's come back and actually given us a bit more detail, which is good. She said, basically, a friend of mine has health issues and needs to move, but the council is with and won't help them move as he's got issue with muscles. So I suppose it's sort of how can we interject at that point and help them? What we can look at, we'd have to potentially go on to Rightmove, see if we've got the right kind of property for that person. So again, it's going to be if we've got the right property at the right time. So if they, depending what the issues they've got with the muscles, and does it mean that they can't have any stairs, or does it mean that they need a stair lift? Do they have to have an altered bathroom so they can have a walk-in shower? Do you know what sort of things do they actually need? But again, if we've got the right property, we can look to help, can't we? And actually assist with getting them moved in. But again, it's going to be all completely open, honest and transparent if we've got the property for them. If we've not got it, it's then going to be a case of looking, well, do we have a property that we need to re-let? Can we then put some money into it? Can we get funding from an outside organisation to make the changes to it? We may be able to, and if we can, then great. But again, I think we'd have to go into that with an open mind about how we can help you, how much we can actually do, and as long as we've got the property for it.
I mean, it would be interesting to see if a social worker was involved. It might be worthwhile because a social worker would have a lot more kind of push on it than what we would.
Oh, let's have a look. Have you any plans to build more houses? A retirement complex with houses rather than developments would be great for over 60s. So that's from Lorraine. We're continually looking to build everywhere, right across the country. So we're continually looking at if we can get any sort of when there's new developments ongoing. Can we get some of those properties? It's always difficult in different areas. So I'd be a case of keeping up with a website, finding out where we've just recently got some properties in Leeds. We've recently re-let a brand new development, so we do get that kind of property. And we are looking at how we can build ourselves, and then what's the local need in that local area. So it's not just as simple as me saying, unfortunately, yes, Lorraine, we're going to build a retirement complex with houses for over 60s, because in all likelihood we'll need to know what the demographic of that area is, and if that's needed, it might be needed for one or two people, but what would be the point in sort of putting that there unless it was more for the wider community? So we are looking to develop, and like I say, it's something that I think best to keep your finger on the pulse and keep up with the website, but I couldn't give you any more clarity around that, unfortunately, at the moment. Let's have a look. What can we do if our housing officer is unhelpful? And that's from a lady called Anne. Get in contact with one of us. I think a lot of the time, if you're having any problems with any member of staff, get in contact. I have to speak to another. There may be a communication breakdown, something. We may be able to reintroduce that relationship.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think if we can do that, because if you've got a breakdown relationship with your customer partner, in reality, they're going to provide you a lot more of the services than as an income function we will. If your rent's up to date and we've managed to put all your income maximisation in place, in reality, your relationship should be with your customer partner. Now, we can be the bridge to that, but what we'd like to think is, if there has been a breakdown in communication, like I say, we get involved in that and we start to rebuild that over time, find out what the issue is, and we'll go from there. Do you allow home swapper for people to swap homes? That's from Debbie. I genuinely don't know the answer to that. Oh, we do. James is giving me a thumbs up. We do.
House exchange.
House exchange, it's called.
House exchange on the website.
House exchange. It's on our website.
Have a look under the Live With Us section.
It's a good job you're here, isn't it? We'd be done otherwise. Well, yeah, apparently we do. It's on our website. So if you have a look at that, then we can see if we can assist you there as well. I've got no more coming through. Are we?
Okay. Well, I think we've done. That's 40 minutes. So we've done 40 minutes. So I think we've done quite well there. I mean,
done 40 minutes.
Most of the things you wanted to cover, and it's really up to you guys to leave it how you want to leave it. You know, in terms of
I mean,
what closing messages are.
I've just got one. I've got one more question here, so we'll answer this one more question, and then we'll wrap up. And like I say, if you've got any other questions, or keep them coming into us. We might not be able to answer them live, but there'll be somebody on the website who can get back to you, or get on to us. I'll give you the contact details in a moment anyway. So how do I get in touch with the Universal Credit Department? And that's from Carl.
Ring them. Best option is just to ring them at the moment. I think people are trying to do things online. It's very slow. So what I keep, maybe shouldn't say it, but I will say it. Those who shout the loudest get the best outcomes. So if you want to get in touch with them, ring them. If you're not getting an outcome, ring them a week later and just keep on at them.
Keep on them,
Yeah, definitely.
So, thanks everybody for engaging. I actually went really, really well, and I'm I think quite pleased at the level of engagement we got there, because you never know how it's going to go, especially in your first one. I think just to wrap up, the key point has got to be.
What's your one thing you'd give? What's your one bit of advice?
Don't worry, I'm doing that.
All right,
Dan's having a go at me here off camera, telling me what to do. Genuinely, one piece of advice. The one piece of advice would be get in contact with us. As you can see from all the different examples and all the questions that have come in, every single one we've got a follow-up question, because we need to know about your details and how we can help you. So the biggest thing I can say to you is, like I say, we're real people. We're not here to hound you. We're not here to make your life more difficult. We're here to make your life better. So get in contact with us and tell us your circumstances, and we'll tell you how we get you out of this situation. If there's anybody watching this as well who isn't a customer of ours and wants to become a customer, again, get in contact. We do offer a service at that point as well, where we'll do a pre-sign-up assessment with you. We'll make sure we go for a full affordability check. If you've got support in place, we'll make sure we're engaging with those support networks and making sure you have the right tools to be able to move in. If you've got the right white goods, etc., things like that, we've got partnerships, with different organisations. We can get you all those goods. So if you are thinking of moving with us, come to us, ask the question, and we'll see what we can do. Once you've moved in, once we're doing that assessment, we'll make sure we can maximise your income if that's needed. And then if you need a tailored individual support plan, we'll give you that. And from there, you'll get a customer partner who you can be in contact with, who can actually give you that tailored support moving forward. And they'll move, like I say, they'll work with you at every single point during the tenancy, and then we're here if you fall on hard times. So if you want to contact us, I'm sure Dan will be putting stuff on the website. So you can go on the website, you can contact any of us that we've already sent you our phone number. You can ring on 0345 678 0555. You can email us, web chat, whatever the best communication method is for you, just get in contact with us. So I think all I'd like to say is thank you. You got anything to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what you've said is the number one point is contact us. You know, there probably are going to be people out there who maybe don't want to contact us. What I would say, though, is before you make any financial decisions, get it checked. If it's not us, get in touch with Citizens Advice. The last thing we want to hear is that one of our tenants have made an error and have got themselves into problems, you know. And as well, stay away from any kind of loan sharks and high interest lenders, because it doesn't end well. That's the only thing. So I would rather that you came to us, explained your situation, we can put you on an affordable plan and help you out of it.
Brilliant. Right, so that's all I say. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope this is going to be the first of many. So maybe next time we'll be able to do something maybe on lettings and things like that. So we'll try and keep this up. So again, if you have any questions, get in contact with us. But thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.